African blue basil plants that you see behind me were all from cuttings from my mom African blue basil plant in the back. And these were all just started from cuttings. I let the roots grow in a pot for a little bit until they were established, and then I just went ahead and put them in the ground here. I don't remember when I planted these, a couple of months ago maybe, and I do expect for them to get much larger, but as you can see, there's a lot of pollinators on this plant. Flies, bees, flies and bees mainly really enjoy this plant, so I really recommend putting it anywhere in a food forest or a garden if you have space. And here we are on the other side. These are also propagated from my parent African blue basil in the back. The pollinators really enjoy this plant, and they're just getting started. It's still kind of early, but they're just getting started here. Sometimes when I walk out the front door, it just sounds like buzzing sounds. It's awesome. And here's another one that I propagated. This doesn't get any irrigation, no drip lines at all. And it's still doing great. This one did seem to fall over a little bit, but even when it falls over, it just continues to grow. All right, y'all, so I just measured this plant. It is just shy of 10 foot wide, and we planted this plant last year, and it was just in a very small propagating pot. It was super small. We put it in the ground. It grows really good here. It does have a dripper line at the base of the plant that runs throughout this whole bed right here. And so it really does good with drip irrigation. One thing I did want to point out is some of the African blue basil plants in the front that I was showing you earlier, those tend to appear to get some sort of a fungal disease when they're hit by the overhead sprinkler, which waters the grass right there. So that's one thing that I noticed. So I would not recommend any type of overhead irrigation on this plant. Definitely use drip irrigation, or as you could see in the other one that I showed you, the one up front has no irrigation at all. It just gets whatever the good Lord provides. So here's the plant, and I wanted to show you now how I propagate it so you can do the same at your place. All right, so here we are, and I'm going to show you how I propagate this. So you do not want to cut any of the woody parts of the plant. If it looks like it's formed a hard part of the plant, you do not want to use that. I'll show you. This right here, this woody part, don't propagate using that. I never use this. I never have. I don't know if it works, but I don't believe it will. So I do not use this part right here. What I do use though, I'll show you on the same piece, is this part right here. See how this is green? It's green, it's not woody at all. This is how you do it. You just take your scissors and you cut off a green part, okay? So I'm gonna take like 5 of these, and then we'll walk over to the nursery so I can show you how to pot them up. Let's not waste the one we've already cut. So here's 3. All right, now we've got our cuttings. Let's go over to the nursery. And I try to pot these up as soon as I cut them because they really need to get in the dirt pretty quickly. All right, we're ready to pot these up, and it got really sunny really quick. Unfortunately, I don't have any shade over here, but I do use this umbrella sometimes. Anyways, okay, so here we go. We've got our cutting. We're just gonna strip off some of these bottom leaves here. And we're gonna cut off this top. I don't want that bloom to stay on. I don't want the plant to focus on keeping that alive and not focus on developing roots. So I'm just gonna cut that off. And you're left with basically this. See y'all, pretty simple. We've got our pots. This is just standard potting mix, nothing special. I do have my own special mix that I use, so I guess it is special, but you don't need to use anything special. Regular potting mix will work. You just take your piece here that you cut, stick it in the dirt, and then I just kind of press in pretty firmly around it to make sure it's nice and firm in there. You can cut off these leaves if you want to. It's not going to hurt anything. The less that the plant needs to support while it's developing the roots, the better, in my opinion. But who am I? I'm just a experimental gardener. But anyways, this is how it normally looks when I propagate them. So we're going to do the rest of these. Well, I'm not going to show you guys. Y'all don't need to see it. But basically, that's pretty much how you do it. But what I will show you is once they are propagated, they're going to turn out like this. Oops, sorry, Bear. So this is one of the propagation pieces, and I just potted it once from this little pot to this bigger pot. And as you can see, it does work pretty good. I do cut these back, even in the pots here and there, just so they don't turn really leggy. If you don't clip them back, they will turn leggy in my opinion. So that's basically it. It's pretty simple. And then keep these moist throughout the whole time while you're watching them and waiting for the roots to grow. I would keep these pretty moist so they don't dry out. It'll encourage the roots to continue to grow. And then after about 6 weeks, it'll be ready to up pot or plant out wherever you want to put it. But I always just start it in these little pots so I can keep an eye on them while they're growing. And that'll conclude the video for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any other plants that you'd like me to show you how to propagate.